Today we are fitting our roof rack, which we are going to be making from this stuff here, which is called Unistrut. Basically, because roof racks are pretty expensive, we're going to make our own. If you're new to this channel, we're James and Sarah, also known as The Whole World or Nothing.
We used to be full-time backpackers, exploring the world and writing about our travels on our blog.
And then the world changed.
We got repatriated from Peru and found ourselves back in the UK at a loose end. So we decided to do a van conversion.
Make sure you hit subscribe now so you can join us in this series as we share the highs and many lows of converting an old Mercedes Sprinter panel van into our dream home on wheels. There's a lot of different nuts and bolts that we need for this job, so you're just checking that we've got them all, aren't you?
Yeah, I think everything's here actually, so crack on.
Okay, sounds good. We ordered them all from different places, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's a proper DIY put together
Kit.
Yeah.
Some of the bits aren't very easy to find, like these were quite difficult to find or to go to a electrical hardware supplier, so that's why it's all from different places, and then bits and pieces from eBay, some bits from Screwfix. But yeah, we'll assemble it all and see how we get on.
Alright, so we've got this laid out where we're going to put it and marked out the little things that we are taking out. So we need to take these out because that's where the Unistrut is going to be bolted through to the roof. We're not taking them all out because they don't all line up. So I think we've got 6, which should be more than enough to fasten it securely.
The holes that already exist along the roof of a Sprinter are just bunged up with these little plugs. To remove them, we warm them up with a heat gun to make them more pliable, and then loosen the adhesive with a trim tool. It also helps to do the same from the inside and push them out as they're pretty firmly stuck in.
To seal the holes, we are putting some mastic sealing strip on it. We're going to use 2 layers because where there's these little bits here that are raised up and the ones that we've not taken out, we want to make sure that it sits flush with the channel. And before we stick the mastic strip on, we're just going to prime the surface with this primer. It's really strong stuff, it stinks, so yeah, make sure you don't get it on your hands. After building up the mastic to the right level, we poked holes through it for the bolts to go through. Then squeezed a little bead of Sikaflex on to make sure it was going to all be waterproof. Where we've secured them down nice and tight, you can see that the Sikaflex has come out of the holes a little bit and sealed all that up, so we're just going to tidy that up and wipe some of that off now.
We rinsed and repeated exactly the same process on the other side, and the homemade roof racks were on.
So these Unistruts that we've put on for the roof bars are made from galvanised steel, so they're already treated, they won't rust. Some people choose to paint them white or black or I don't know, whatever colour. We haven't done that because we think they look alright as they are. What we have got though are these little ends to put on them just to finish them off so they look nice and tidy on the end.
One of the first things that we actually bought for the van before we'd even picked up the van was all of the stuff to put the solar panels on, and we've just got one of the solar panels out and they arrived this week, and we've been looking at it and the dimensions are slightly different to what we thought they would be, which means that we're going to have to change our plans for securing them to the roof rack slightly, and rather than using these small metal angles, we're going to have to use these long metal angles that go the whole of the width. And the reason for that is that the solar panels are actually slightly narrower in width than we thought, so they don't stretch the whole way. So we're going to have to create something that actually goes the whole width of the van, secure them in that way instead.
So this isn't something you often see in a van build series like this, but it's no exaggeration to say that we spent at least an hour a day, often more, trying to figure out how to overcome problems like this one. It's a frustrating but necessary part of a van build.
The other thing that has come today is the angle brackets that we need to fix the solar panels on the roof. The first couple that we ordered were actually too big. The ones that we've got today are exactly the right size, so I'm just going to cut the two that we had already down to the correct size, and I'm just going to use a hacksaw to do that. It's pretty simple, I've done one already, and it's a lot easier than I thought actually. As you can probably see, today is a big day. It is solar panel day. We've chosen hopefully what is going to be a dry day. We've been waiting for this day for weeks, right?
I know, it's so exciting, I can't believe it's finally here.
So the plan is to get them all mounted onto their brackets, and then we're going to actually install them and get them on the roof and maybe even get them hooked up.
Yeah, hopefully.
But the first thing what we need to do is to get them all measured up, make sure they actually fit on the roof, and make sure that we've got enough space in between them. Then we're going to have to cut the cables because they're way too long and reconnect some new connectors that are more suitable in size.
Yep. Well, they're the same connectors, it's just shortening the cables.
Yeah.
On some of them, not the end ones, because they've got to come into the van.
Okay. Okay, so let me just explain exactly how we're going to be attaching the solar panels to our roof. So we've already got two channels on the roof, right, which we put on in place of roof racks. And we're using a thing called Unistrut, which is basically like a U-shaped channel. The solar panels themselves are a little too narrow to just attach directly onto that channel. So we've come up with a little bit of a different system. We're going to have to attach them to these aluminium angles first. We're just going to drill some holes along, put maybe 4 bolts on either side so that they're firmly attached, and it's going to be these that actually sit on the Unistrut. And the way that we're going to attach those to the Unistrut is using this system.
Let's have a look at it.
Now what that is a huge angle washer. We've got a penny washer, there's a bolt reasonably long going through all of that. Then we've got this thing which is called, I think it's called a channel nut, and it is specifically designed to work with the Unistrut. So these two channels on either side fit perfectly in place with the downwards channels that are on the Unistrut. And then when you tighten it up, they actually grip the Unistrut, so there's no way that they can get off. But just for extra security, I'm going to put another nut on there as well, underneath, because I don't want these things flying off. That's probably my biggest fear actually in this whole van. So we're going properly belt and braces with this, and we're making sure that they're as secure as possible. And hopefully this is all going to work.
And these are the cables that we need to shorten, so they're 5-metre cables, and for the end ones where the positive and negative leads are coming into the van, that's fine, but for the middle one and a cable on the end one each, they need to just connect to each other, so they need to be much shorter so that we've not just got loose cable flapping around on the top of the van. As I said, the end cables that are the standard that are attached to the solar panels are really good because they're 5 metres long and they'll just come straight down into the van, hopefully. We don't need to extend those, but for the interconnecting ones, it's just too long is the cable. So I'm just going to show you how I am chopping these down and attaching new connectors to them. So just at the desired length. Always do a little bit more as well, or I have been doing in case I made a mistake and then I have to make it a bit shorter because I need to do it again. So cut your wire off, that's what you don't need. And then I have got a wire stripper, but the wire's too big for it, so I'm just having to do this by hand, just very carefully with a Stanley knife. It's fixed on nice and tight, not going anywhere. Hold it. So then you just got to push that in there, so I think that's part of what makes it watertight. Put that bit on, and then the kit that I bought came with these, which are for tightening the bits up, which are really handy actually, because they just hold the pieces together. And they just click like that, and they're tight and in place. And there you go, shortened connector. Okay, that's the cable shortened that we needed to shorten. How's it going your end?
Yeah, good. I'm just drilling the holes to fix the solar panels onto these. I've got 2 of them done, just got 1 more to do. So yeah, it's going alright.
You got 2 solar panels done?
Yeah, pretty much, more or less.
Okay, oh we're nearly there then.
Nearly.
Alright, I need to clean the van roof then while you're finishing that off.
We drilled holes in the aluminium angles and began bolting the solar panels onto them. And despite a little interruption, we were soon ready to go.
Is this a joke?
Typical, isn't it? This is British weather for you, British summertime.
We're putting them on?
Yep, so these are what we need. Let's get the first one on.
After getting them secured on and connected up to each other, we drilled a hole to feed the cables through and into the van, and stuck a protective housing on with Sikaflex to keep it all watertight. Oh, it's hot!
and the solar panels were on. So that's it for this week, fellas. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and feel free to pop us a comment down below too. If you're not already subscribed, then we'd love you to consider doing that. It's free, so what's the harm? And make sure you tap the little alarm bell so you get notified every time we post a new video.
Next week we'll be starting to build our partition wall and putting in our headliner shelf above the cab, so make sure you join us for that.